Welcome back to the Ambition Over Fear portal. I'm Atlas Opia, and I help people expand their interdimensional knowledge. And in today's video, I'm going to be discussing how to improve your psychic abilities. And if you watch till the end, I'll provide you a lot of really useful tools and step-by-step instructions that can hopefully get you there. So when we talk about psychic abilities, what we're really referring to on an interdimensional level is your mind's ability to let go long enough for all the old beliefs and thoughts that you may have had about how reality works to dissolve into your soul's connection with the universe and the reality that every single thing around you is a reflection of yourself. Because at a core, everything in this universe is made from seed energy, which is consciousness. So when you can observe something without the perception of your mind coming in, you can allow your imagination to truly move into the control center so your system can feel connected to everything around you. And so improving your psychic abilities is truly about allowing your mind to let go of how it thinks reality works. So you, as a soul in this body, can be connected to the unified field of energy, and you can find a sense of knowing and familiarity in every single thing that pops up in your consciousness. Because in reality, the only way for you to experience something, the only way for you to have a thought, is if you're at a vibrational match to what you're bringing in. It's almost as if you have two people having a conversation on the phone, but the only way for that conversation to happen is if both things are communicating on a level of energy that is similar, which is a phone line, or both of their phones having a piece of technology that can connect to each other. So step one in how to increase your psychic abilities is truly moving into that resonance where you realize that you are the entire universe. It's moving up the ladder of consciousness, moving up the dimensions so you can allow your consciousness to be in different places. Now remember, when you're moving into different dimensions, all you're doing is pivoting where your consciousness is projecting out from. You're changing the perception of something based on where you're looking at it from. So it's almost when you see somebody having a debate or you see a lot of people in a conversation talking about one thing and each one of them is right in their own way. It's because when you're examining something or you're looking at an aspect of consciousness, whether it be a conversation or the dimensions or the universe, it truly comes down to changing how you're looking at that thing, changing where you're looking at it from. What is a focal point that is blasting consciousness forward? Where are you seeing it from? So start to feel into your body, right? Right now we're gonna move up the ladder of consciousness so you can really be in more resonance with the entire universe, and you can be the entire universe instead of assuming that you're separate from what you're observing. Okay? So feel your body, Feel your identity. Feel the information you're receiving from your 5 senses around you. And then move up into your higher self. Through your third eye, you can imagine a spindle of energy going in or out in whatever direction you please. Or one thing I like to do is imagine that my soul, my focal point of awareness, is moving up dimensions as if I'm in an elevator and I'm going upwards. So now when you're kind of in a higher place in your body and you're observing life rather than associating and attaching to your thoughts and emotions, you're observing them, you're in your higher self. You can imagine that your higher self is the mother and the father to your body, okay? Now move into the different reincarnations you may have had. And if you're not aware of many of those reincarnations, just imagine your soul being in different countries, being in different bodies, being a different being, right? Use your imagination and allow your heart to guide you into places of resonance that you have in the quantum field. Now move a bit higher and see planets. See different alien beings, but they're not alien beings, they're just different types of life form, right? So when you say that, when you make the shift from I'm seeing different alien beings to I'm seeing different types of life form, you're moving from the conditioned mind into the free-flowing consciousness of the universe, where your higher self is truly guiding you into the portal of everything. You're moving from I'm a body and a person to I am the entire universe, and I am everything that I'm thinking about and observing, because the only way you're able to actually experience something is if you're part of that experience. Now I want you to imagine source energy, right? There are 13 dimensions, and if you would like to know more, I have another video on this channel about that. But imagine what the source dimension looks like. Now, remember there are 13 dimensions, and the source energy, which is the stem cell energy, if you will, it's the form of consciousness that creates everything else, is resting in number 13. And that trickles down to 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 to your body. So everything is connected through this potent battery, if you will. Now be the battery. Imagine being the creator of planets. Imagine feeling into the creation of different beings and life forms in this universe. Imagine going into the angelic realms and looking at everything as if you're playing a video game and there's a sandbox and you're creating these light temples and these pathways and etheric streets that can create this angelic city, right? So you're moving your consciousness into that realm, and as you're doing that, remember, tell your mind, I'm not observing something, I'm becoming what I am observing. And you realize that the line is very thin as you go into more of a free-flowing understanding. So step 2 is being in that free-flowing understanding, where you realize that everything is just another manifestation. Every single thing you're experiencing is just energy, a form of consciousness that is being fueled and came from the 13th dimension and still has a seed energy of oneness in it. And it is just manifesting in different senses, different things you're seeing, your thoughts, you know, the quantum field, planets, the different dimensions, all those things are just different manifestations. And the only way those things can be manifested is if a being that is able to become that dimension of energy, or is in that dimension of energy, which could be one of your reincarnations, has created those patterns of energy that create sound, or the planets, or the highways of energy that go around the universe, or forms of sacred geometry. So everything's a manifestation, and the only thing that can create a manifestation is a form of consciousness that is at the same level it is wanting to manifest in. So then, come down and into a place where you're less defensive on how things work. And I want you to kind of see those parts of the universe being created. And there's no right or wrong way to do this, right? You don't have to go by a certain diagram or do exactly what somebody is teaching you, is trying to guide you into. The whole idea is to allow me, or a teacher or a person, to open the doors so you can find out how your soul is meant to uncover or associate with different dimensions. So see the planets, right? See the plants and life form on this planet, and imagine being the force that is creating those things. Imagine being so big in consciousness that you're becoming all sacred geometry, and then using that control of you knowing that you are what you're creating to change how the sacred geometry looks. So step 2 is really getting behind a manifestation in the higher dimensions and seeing what it would be like to create those things. And as you see what it would be like, you're shifting into that resonance of being in the higher dimensions and creating different forms of energy. So step 3 is, after you've taken some time and you go into the higher dimensions and you use your imagination to astral travel into different realms, and you're creating an association to these things because you realize everything is one, you are everything you're experiencing. And as you raise your dimensional awareness, you can change the aspects of the universe that you're becoming from a place of consciousness outside of your body. Then you're seeing those things being created come back to the third dimension, and imagine everything is more flexible, right? See that everything is energy vibrating in a specific form that just happens to be created in a certain way, right? I'm sitting on a couch. Energy had to come together to create the colors and the fabrics, and it had to layer itself and translate into physical matter. And as you're looking outside, you see trees, and I want you to imagine the energy that had to come together to create these trees. And what you're doing is you're moving into more of a reverse engineering aspect, where you're taking parts of the universe, whether it be on the third dimension or the higher dimension, and you're seeing the layers of energy that have to come together to create that thing. And then you could be just imagining what it would look like for a planet to come together. What it would look like from the quantum field for energy to come together to make pieces of fabric that make the couch I'm sitting on. So that's step 3, is truly seeing what is manifested in your physical realm, meaning everything that exists, and imagine being the creator behind those things. Imagine creating pieces of elements together. And when you do that, you're shifting your consciousness from the third dimensional body and identity into a dimensional awareness of actually creating those things. And now I want to tell you that you're not observing what it would be like to create those parts of the higher realms or lower realms, but you're actually doing it on some level. And the only thing stopping you is your mind saying that no, you're just a body, you're just a soul, and how it perceives what a soul is, and you're moving into expansion. So step 4 is after you kind of connect to everything in the universe and you see energy creating manifestations in the higher realms and lower realms, I want you to imagine that now when you're wanting to find information or you're wanting to know something, you're becoming the thing you're wanting to know. You're moving your consciousness into that question, and you're allowing yourself to go into the point in time where that thing gets revealed. Improving your psychic abilities is truly realizing that being psychic is not just being able to retrieve information. Being psychic is being able to move your consciousness outside of your body and your identity into the different dimensions your soul exists in, so you can move beyond the idea of I am this soul into I am the universal soul when you're having to go that high up. And then when that happens, when you're knowing information, then you can become the information. Then instead of you thinking that, okay, I'm doing all this work and I'm expanding so I can be more psychic, what you're really doing is going beyond one aspect of what being psychic means, and realizing that if you want to have a claircognizant representation of self in this body, which is tapping into the knowing that you are everything in this universe, and if you want to know something, you just shift to a different part of yourself once your self is the entire universe. That knowing helps you in your abilities as an alchemist. Regardless if you're trying to change the cells in your body or upgrade your DNA or alter a field of energy in the higher dimensions, because the being that you are in another reincarnation has the job to maintain different energetic pathways in the universe. You have to know something before you're able to change it. You have to be able to extract information on how to do something before you're able to actually do that skill set. And I will provide you a lot of different quantum skill sets, on this channel, which truly are for people on any level, ranging from wanting to just understand how to alter the energy that is manifesting in your reality, or wanting to understand how to alter the energy that is manifesting on different planets or in different realms or on different aspects of the universe that your soul is participating in and helping in or having fun in, right? Manifesting on any dimension requires you to know the information you need to know, and then kind of pull in, okay, how am I supposed to heal my cells? Well, if you realize that you're everything, then become your cells. And then go into a place in the universe where there is a version of you in a parallel reality that has excellent cells in that organ, and then become that. Shift into that parallel reality. So step 4 is truly that, right? It's releasing the idea of what being psychic means and realizing being psychic is your ability to tap into the quantum field in different dimensions and pull information out. And then really allowing yourself to move your consciousness in different dimensions by changing how you're looking at something. What is the pivoting point, right? Can you pivot into a new way of observing something. And then by observing something differently, your consciousness actually takes form of that structure of energy and becomes it. So you are everything. You are the planets, you are all the gods, all the angels, all the starseed beings. And when you realize that, you're going to be able to get much more control of your soul from a level of deciding what reincarnations do you have next. What reincarnations are you healing? What reincarnations should you tap into to retrieve specific information so you can understand how different patterns of energy are coming from those different lives that your soul has planted itself into. Okay? I hope this video helped you guys, and I want to tell you that I offer Galactic Quantum Coaching for this very reason. If you're wanting to really move into that awareness of being the entire universe, but your mind is being resistant, or there's a blockade in front of you, and you're choosing to view things such as being psychic or astral traveling or alchemy in a certain way based on how your mind has programmed itself to think from when you had your first ascension or awakening, or from the questions you've had, you know, about the curiosity of the unknown. I'm here to guide you into those things and give you practical ways to understand how to access different dimensions of energy and alter that energy so you can see a result happen in another dimension. A lot of souls have the calling to help different parts of the galaxy because they have had a reincarnation as a being and they're remembering it in this body. And you can control and access those interdimensional lives from this body, but you have to allow your mind to actually reframe how it thinks to adapt to that interdimensional information. So there is more of a level of integration rather than separation. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon, and remember, subscribe, and I have videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, bye.